Another thing I do, I don't know if you can see this or not. My camera focus on there. There's the gas port. I try to get that as centered as possible, along with seeing if the gas cylinder is even with the taper where the gas plug sits. Now, I don't concern myself too much with the lock timing, so to speak, unless you got a handful of gas cylinder locks and a bunch of gas cylinders. Trying to find one that times perfectly is not much fun. So I try to center my gas port, make the bevel level. Let me grab the gas lock. No, mine goes past 6 o'clock. I've tried the 3 or 4 gas locks I have, and I don't get any better. My best one will actually tighten up way over here, and that's just too far away. I'm not filing anything to help it get there. So that's all the way on, finger tight, just grabbing it and go like that. So that goes a little past. But even if I draw that a little forward, if you look at the gas port will be nice and centered. I don't think the gas cylinder lock being perfectly timed is a huge accuracy killer. And I really don't think it matters until you're approaching, natural match type setups and your bed and your stock and all that fun stuff. So I tighten it till it bottoms out, and then I go back. If you have one that locks up, say over at 3 o'clock, unfortunately, the only thing you can do is either turn it till it lines up, which just make sure your gas port lines up well. And I think having your gas port centered in that port is probably more important than anything. You don't want to draw it too far forward where the gas port gets covered. And you definitely, if you're driving it so far past that, there's something else. Your gas cylinder is not fitting correctly. So, tighten that up, bring it back. And that's about the best you can do for your service grade M1, like I said, without a bunch of pots around. And you just put your lock in, gas cylinder screw, lock, plug, what have you. There are some out there that say the solid ones are best for accuracy. They're not ported for the grenade launcher. They don't have the poppet valve inside there. I'm not a big fan of adjustable gas plugs unless you're running extremely hot hunting loads or you feel compelled to shoot 200 grain core locks at 2,800 feet per second or something. Then you probably should use a adjustable gas plug. I just use a 1/4-inch drive. I usually have a T handle, but I can't find it at the moment. And I just grip it with my hands. Grip it with my hands like that, and then just tighten it with my other hand. That's as tight as it needs to be. It doesn't have to be too crazy. If you're taking a lot of Garands apart often, by all means, buy the tool. Because I've torn down all my Garands in one day, and after a while, I don't know, between grabbing the sights and everything else, your hands get beat up, sore, cut. It's all fun. So that's it there for gas cylinder stuff. A lot of people ask about lube. I just use grease. Really don't care what it is. I'm using maybe a quart-sized container that's been kicking around in my family from God knows when. It's supposedly waterproof marine grease. I just take a Q-tip. This Q-tip has been in the grease thing for probably 25 years. And I literally just take the Q-tip. That's about as much grease as I use. Wipe the rails. Wipe this rail. I get the bolt. And then these tracks. And the guide tracks. And that's all I'm doing is just wiping what grease is on this. There's not even a lot of grease on there. And then on the op rod, I'll hit in here where the lug goes. And then on the bottom of the barrel, where it rides along the barrel. And that's about it. I've already disassembled the sights when I got it, cleaned them up, light coat of grease. Everything else is just wiped. Let's see, I lube the locking lug areas a little bit. Nothing crazy. You don't need a lot. We're not in the torrential downpours of the Philippines or the South Pacific, where the rain would literally wash the lube off the gun, supposedly. And we're not fighting in the North African desert. We're shooting these at the range. Shit hits the fan. This is probably the last weapon I am going to grab. It's too heavy. The ammo's too heavy. And I have more practical guns for that. Well, that's it. That's all I do for lube. The rest is just any type of CLP. Spray it down, wipe it off. Keep a CLP rag handy. Give your guns a quick wipe when you're done using them. Get your fingerprints off them. And you should be good to go for a long time. I'm going to put it back together and get ready to shoot it.